Yes, members of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, in the Ashanti region have begun removing posters of former Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Kyerematen, from the party's various offices. Now, this comes after the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the party, Bernard Entry Buesiako, directed for all posters of the NPP former flag-bearer aspirant to be removed after he resigned from the party and declared his intention to run as an independent candidate in the 2024 general elections. Our Middle Belt Bureau Chief Edward Oponmafo reports.
The Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, Bernard Entry Buesiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, in a memo dated Monday, 25th September 2023, directed for all posters of Alan Kyerematen to be removed from all party offices within the region. This follows the former Trade and Industry Minister's decision to resign from the party and run as an independent candidate. In line with the NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman's directive, Citi news sources show that indeed party members in the region have begun removing posters of Mr. Alan Kyerematen at various party offices. It is noteworthy, however, that there are some party offices in the Ashanti region where posters of Mr. Alan Kyerematen are still visible at the premises. The campaign team of Alan Kyerematen in the Ashanti region, however, says it is unperturbed by the decision to call for the removal of Alan's posters.
There is no leadership in the NPP, so you don't expect any popular decision to be taken. you get it. There is no leadership in the NPP, so definitely it is unpopular decisions such as this that definitely he will take. Removing Alan's stickers and posters, okay, we needed people to do that. So if he has stepped out to be a baller boy, to be removing the posters and what have you, a big thanks to him. A big thanks to him. Well, Alan does not need to have his pictures on MPP, what have you, to get the votes he wants. We needed people to do that. We needed to do that ourselves so that people will not be attracted by Alan's picture to go and vote for the MPP. We needed people. So if fortunately enough, he has turned himself into a baller man to be doing that, all thanks. God bless him for that. We are grateful that he has stepped up to do that job for us so that we can concentrate on other productive things.
Alan Kyerematen campaign team in the Ashanti region says it stands a better chance of winning more votes in the region as compared to the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. The team insists running as an independent candidate remains the best option as Alan Kyerematen has not been treated fairly by the NPP.
I want to put on record that under no circumstance will Bawumia beat Alan in this upcoming elections. Under no circumstance. Look at the demographic, groupings. Among the Christian community, Alan will beat Bawumia. Among on tribal lands, Alan will beat Bawumia in Akan communities. Mahama is grabbing all the northern votes, no two ways about it. So and among the youth, the message of Alan Kyerematen, he has already brought, vehicle assembly, component manufacturing is coming. We will continue wallowing in poverty until we get somebody who has expertise in job creation to come and create the jobs in abundance. And if Alan Kyerematen says you want to create jobs, you ask yourself, can it be true? Common sense should tell you that he has already established after.
So, what do inhabitants of the Ashanti region make of the recent developments?
See, I saw the new ideas never. I found when you meet body tea. So the adjun for be to the bedroom of my Ghana. And this a Tidana and Yamia Bamano, and I fed was adjun for be Bamwa. Why in the yard, you word to my Dr. Bear? So a piny 3 years, a minute dano. Yeah, the Juninchi, what the amenifu for the bedroom of my Ghana.
Me MPP Balan Bassis here. Alan.
You say Alan the Empress about what's in who you're for so. Because Nanado, Omubunu Kasia, because you're more than you're fine. In the Alamba, was watching the party. The Obeka Zabia party now watching M1. One Paco, okay, one also one adventure. Independent. The Obeka M1, one adventure. But Mr. Media say, Pesoba.
For electorates in the Ashanti region, their major concern is for the aspirants to ensure that once they come up with messages that resonate with the people, they should ensure that they are able to fulfill those promises once they are elected. For Citi News, I'm Edward Oponmafo, Kumasi.
Meanwhile, most members from the Northern Regional Chapter of the Alan Kyerematen's campaign team are defecting to join the camp of the Vice President, Dr. Mamudu Bawumia, ahead of the Delegates Conference in November. Now, this comes on the back of the resignation of Mr. Kyerematen from the NPP after accusing the party of favoring one particular candidate in the contest, hence his resolve to run as an independent candidate. Our Northern Regional correspondent, Shawana Yusuf, has more.
Members of the campaign team of Alan Kyerematen in the recently held NPP Superdelegates Conference in the Northern Region have declared support for Dr. Mamudu Bawumia ahead of the National Delegates Conference in November. This follows the resignation of Alan Kyerematen from the NPP in a widely televised press conference on Monday. At a press conference in Tamale Tuesday, Chibere Moses Moye, an administrator of the Alan campaign team in the region, expressed shock at Mr. Kyerematen's decision to quit the NPP. He emphasized that the campaign team's support for Alan Kyerematen was tied to his affiliation with the NPP, and therefore, by cutting ties with the party, the former flag-bearer aspirant has also severed ties with his support base in the region.
We, as concerned former supporters of Alan Kyerematen's presidential candidacy within the MPP, are here today to express our profound disappointment in Mr. Kyerematen for what we consider as significant betrayal. We will not betray our party for any individual, not even the President of the Republic. We remain NPP. We will champion the cause of NPP. We shall die for NPP, and we shall make sure that NPP succeeds in 2024. So, as we said, we identify issues within our party. We believe in staying, working together to resolve the differences and move forward in unity. That is what we hoped for, and that was what we wished for.
The group says following Mr. Kyerematen's resignation, Dr. Mamudu Bawumia now stands as the best candidate to lead the NPP into the 2024 elections, hence their resolve to support him.
An independent presidential candidate aspirant for the 2024 election, Alan Kyerematen, has taken a swipe at Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta for failing to defend the government when a decision was taken to seek balance of payment support from the IMF. In a yet-to-be-aired interview on Citi TV's Point of View program, Mr. Kyerematen, who served as Trade Minister, said it took him and others to defend the government when the need arose.
Does it have to be that I have come and, let's say, for example, if a party takes a position in a certain direction, does it require the Minister of Trade and Industry to be speaking on corruption? Does it require the Minister of Trade where the Minister of Finance is there? I was not appointed to do the job of the Minister of Finance.
I'm talking about a principal position on issues. For example, IMF.
Yes.
We went for IMF.
Yes.
July 2022, the president announced it.
Yes.
We did not hear you say anything about whether
you see, that's the unfortunate thing. And I can put it on record. And the Minister of Finance cannot deny this. And the Vice President himself cannot deny this. I was a member of the Management Economic Committee. And the people who have been part of this system will tell you that I was the one who, at the time when it became clear that the numbers were so bad, I made a very strong case that we're not going to listen to the wailing of the Minister of Finance again, always giving excuses about what it can turn it around. I made a strong DMT. I mean, I don't think that we should deny the people of this country of understanding how things have unfolded. I made a very strong case that the Minister of Finance has no basis for going around saying that we'll not go to IMF because he's unable to provide any alternative. I made a strong case that...
At the time the E-levy was being debated, where he said we're not going to IMF.
Well, I mean, it's before then in other cases. So I made a strong case that where we are now, or where we were at that time, we have no choice. And you can ask if people will be true to themselves. I would not have responded except because you're asking.
No, because...
So, but I'm saying that immediately after that, this is when the president agreed to the position taken by the EMT and started making calls.
Against the wishes of the finance minister?
Oh, obviously, but the finance minister cannot deny this. He made it clear that he was not in favor of us going to IMF. So when the president finally made the decision, I was the first person in leadership position who went publicly to defend the position of the IMF. I'm surprised you didn't know this. I came out on my own. Nobody instructed me to go. I think the first time was Good Evening Ghana. I made a solid case why the minister... Did you hear the vice president ever talk about IMF? Or did you hear the minister of finance come to defend? I'm talking about in the early weeks and months following IMF. I went out publicly to defend it. So I'm surprised that you didn't pick this up.
But if NDC and NPP have not transformed Ghana, and you've been
my agenda,
leading in the NPP, indeed, Trade Ministry is possibly the third or fourth most important pick of any government anywhere.
Yes, yeah.
Do you take responsibility for the failures of this government?
Bernard, this is a major statement. Do I take responsibility for the failures of the government?
No, not you as individual. Collective responsibility. You are part of the blame for the economic challenges we face, the fact that people are still in poverty, the economy has not been transformed, the exchange rate has fallen
to... the government, a senior member of the government. So why would I not take part of that responsibility as collective? But that has nothing to do with the fact that I'm making a case that if I am president, because you see, there are different levels of power and authority and responsibilities associated with that level of authority. And I've been a change agent for the long while that I've been a minister under President Kufuor and then under President Kufuor. Everybody knows this. So I'm saying that the kind of agenda that I have pursued in NPP, both under President Kufuor and under President, speaks directly to the message that I'm carrying now.
Meanwhile, the New Patriotic Party has dismissed Alan Kyerematen's grounds for resigning from the party to contest as an independent presidential candidate in 2024, but has accepted a notice of resignation. The former Trade Minister at a press conference listed, among other things, alleged victimization of his supporters and skewing of the October 26 polls in favor of a particular candidate. But in response to the decision, the party urged its base to disregard the claims by Mr. Kyerematen. Citi News' Hansen Ajman has more in the following report.
The anticipated press conference was focused on clarifying what the party believes to be wrong impressions created by Mr. Kyerematen and rallying the base for the Break the Eight agenda despite the obvious setback. Mr. Kyerematen, who withdrew from the presidential primaries, claimed that the August 26 polls were skewed in the favor of a particular candidate. He explained that the failure of the National Council to yield to the demand of 9 aspirants at the time for a decentralized Congress and for the superdelegates to vote for 5 candidates each instead of 1 vote per delegate grounded his move. But the party says those demands failed because they were against the dictates of the party's constitution and equally rejected by the appropriate body.
The party's constitution further states in Article 13.2.2 that where there is more than 1 contestant Each delegate will cast his or her votes by secret ballot for one of the contestants. Therefore, the demand by the petitioners for delegates to vote for 5 persons instead of 1 is certainly unconstitutional.
The former Trades and Industry Minister also claimed that his supporters have been victimized and treated as outcasts. The governing party, through its General Secretary, however, says there's no iota of truth in the position taken by Mr. Chematin.
In reference to Mr. Chematin's concerns, which include allegations of intimidation against his supporters, it is noteworthy that certain government appointees, including cabinet ministers, who openly declared their support for him, are still at post and have never been intimidated.
A leading member of the New Patriotic Party and former member of Parliament for Ablekuma North, Kwame Nabatels, however, indicated that the decision will end Alan's political career.
I felt sorry for him because he's taking the worst decision he can ever take in his political life.
Why do you say so?
He's finished. As a politician, this is the end for him.
Do you think he's been treated unfairly? He says he's been treated unfairly.
I wouldn't judge, but we have processes within the party for dealing with unfair treatment.
For the New Patriotic Party, this decision by Alan Chematin will not in any way affect its fortunes in the 2024 general elections. It is, however, calling on all ministers to emulate the steps of Mr. Chematin to propagate the good works their ministries have done under the tenure of President Akufo-Addo and the NPP. Reporting for Citi News, Hansen Ajiman.